Theresa was saying she's not hiding it. She's being strategic in letting her kids get to know them first. Strategic was code for manipulative. Just finished episode 7 of Age of Attraction as we had some more awkward encounters with some other family members. I think we have to begin with John and Teresa. They were the big story of the episode. And for all of the stress that Teresa had about meeting her kids, I felt like they were very chill, open-minded people. And Teresa is just putting all this pressure on herself and frankly is becoming the manipulative old person that we've seen in other couples on this show. There is a lot of Jorge in Teresa all of a sudden. Teresa just has it in her mind that nobody's ever going to accept this relationship unless she can manipulate it in a way. And John keeps telling her that they need to navigate the backlash together. John is wise beyond his years, certainly wiser than the 54-year-old in this couple. John is saying the complication is on Teresa's side. He's saying he's only stressed about it because she is stressed about it. And I totally see that happening this whole time. Teresa is the problem and is the one stressing both of them out about the situation. So they meet her children. John meets Richard first, who is her oldest child at 29 years old, 2 years older than him. The thing John has going for him in this relationship anyway, is that he really does look older than he is. Him and Teresa in this episode together, I can see why some of her kids think he is in his mid-30s at the youngest. I really can see that with John here. The kids asked John some good questions like why did he go on this journey? He talked about how he wanted to leave Miami because it's so superficial and hard to find real connections, and he wanted to find a real connection, and that's what happened with Teresa. And they really connected together quickly. They also asked how John feels about her having older children and if John wants his own children. John is saying he doesn't want kids himself and that he's dealing with the fact that she has older children. The kids were helping John out at times in this conversation, saying, it's actually better that we're older. You don't have to deal with all the kid stuff. And they were right. So John left Teresa alone with her kids. But we did get a confessional from John, feeling like she was beating around the bush in this family time and was just totally not confident in their connection. And there was a total lack of enthusiasm. And there was. I think if Teresa would have came in confidently here, that she really liked this guy, it probably would have helped a little bit with her children. Now, I think the daughter and maybe even the youngest were trying to look out for her. And I think if they find out that he is under 30, they would certainly feel some kind of way and think she's not being realistic. But I think the way Teresa is going about this is just making things worse. So they asked Teresa about John's age, and she wouldn't tell them. She's saying she wants them to get to know him first, like she did. And in theory, maybe it's a good idea. But in execution, it feels very manipulative to me. It's like Teresa is trying to find a way where she can make her children like John first before giving them all the information. I don't like it. It's pretty skeevy. It's pretty skeevy, like some of the other older people on this show. They make it worse for themselves than I think they have to. And I get where Teresa's coming from, that if her kids aren't for John and don't support the relationship, she wouldn't want to have the relationship because if they're not supporting her, she loves her children. But at the same time, they are grown. That's the whole discussion. Her kids are grown. And if Teresa's happy, which they all see her as happy, and if John is a good person, which he has one of the best heads on his shoulders on this entire show. He might have the best head in the game, the most like real, the most like really looking for a real connection. Like he's just so logical, but she won't let him be great, quite frankly. Anyway, the kids, of course, felt weird that she's not telling them his age, and in the confessional, that's when they guessed around 35. They did say if he was under 30, it would be strange. We'll circle back to them at the end. Let's move on to Vanessa and Logan. They ended up meeting Vanessa's friend, who is also 32, so not only does she have younger boyfriends, but younger friends as well. During the meeting with her friend noticed that they keep having all these little mini fights. And I think it was more so Logan just trying to get Vanessa to stay on track and stick to a subject instead of wanting to go every which way and tell her friend every single thing at the exact same time. It was a lot. Vanessa's just a lot. And when Vanessa talked to her friend alone after that meeting and mentioned how she has those mini fights in all her relationships. Am I the problem? Yes, Vanessa, you're the problem. Sorry to break it to you. I mean, how can you not see it that way? I think Logan has been trying his best in this relationship, but Vanessa is her own worst enemy. That is what I got from Vanessa this entire season. And in talking to her friend, it seems like her friend thinks that Vanessa usually dates younger guys because they're more outgoing and fun and don't have baggage. But it doesn't seem to work out for her that way. And when Logan and Vanessa talked alone after, he let her know that she was always changing the subject, and that's why they were having little fights. But I will say, if you are having mini fights at the beginning of a relationship, it's probably not going to work out in the long run. Feifer and Derek had an emotional episode. Not surprised, since they are both water signs, like I've been talking about with my little astrological twist on things. They met Derek's cousin, who he called his best friends, and the cousin had a lot of questions about their future and wanting to know how Feifer felt about Derek's children and if she's in a position to move because of his children. She was, of course, shocked to learn that Feifer is just 23, and they do have that age gap. Feifer was talking about how she came on the show wanting to get to know a person and falling for the person, but did admit that she never dated anyone with kids. In a confessional, the cousin was wondering what their future looks like and saying in 10 years, Pfeiffer's going to be a totally different person, which, like, fair. Pfeiffer's going to get older. She's going to become, older, wiser, really come into her own, even though I think she has a good head on her shoulders, too. But, like, his cousin's statement was like, we're all different in 10 years. We're all different every decade. So every relationship's going to have to go through those changes. It's just, do they want to go through those changes together? That's what they have to decide. And afterwards, Feifer was not feeling optimistic anymore about things because she feels like she is the one giving up a lot to be with him because she's the one that's going to have to move from Seattle. Even though she's saying she wants to leave Seattle, she doesn't want to keep hearing from him that everything is going to be fine because she feels like she is the one giving up everything. In the end, she said she was scared, which I think is very fair how to feel with this budding relationship with an older man with kids. She kept saying that she keeps asking herself, what the fuck am I doing? And he wants her to be honest and real, so he is saying. He's saying he needs her to be at peace if they're going to go forward with this decision to actually be together, which I don't know how she took that. She seemed to take that a little odd, but I think he was just saying, like, he doesn't want her to be scared going forward with this relationship. I still don't know how physical these two are as a couple either. There's a lot of questions with these two. They are my two favorites from the season, though. Whether they stay together or not, I think they have tried to be actually good to each other. So I just hope they both find some happiness, even if it's not each other. Andrew and Libby didn't have anyone else to meet because all their friends met each other when they met the other day. he keeps talking to her about her being 22 and saying when he was 22, he wasn't ready for a serious relationship and wanted to know if she has more life she wants to do by herself. He needs to know if she does. She was saying she sees Andrew as someone who doesn't take away from her life, that he adds to her life, which was a mature thing to say. I'll give Libby some credit there. I still question why we didn't see any of Libby's family members, just her friends, for her being the youngest. She either hid that she did this from her parents, or her parents didn't want any part of this mess, but still very questionable there. I think Andrew in his mind wants it to work out, even though he's trying to give her reasons as to why it won't work out, saying he's boring at home, he doesn't go out much. Andrew's really, really hoping this works out, but I don't know how I feel about them. I felt for many episodes now like they're not going to work. Similar to how I feel about Chris and Leah. Chris going on and on about how he feels so exhausted in this relationship, to me, just is coming off as someone like on a lot of these Netflix dating shows where they just come up with excuses as to why they are wanting to end things. They're just going to put out all those excuses because they don't really want to work for the relationship to work, because either they just wanted to come on TV, or I think in Chris's case, just wanted to have some good, fun, physical time, which he and Leah did. I also question how serious Leah is about this, because we didn't see any of Leah's loved ones. So, I mean, it's crazy enough that none of Libby's family came. Even crazier, we saw nobody from Leah, which is why when Leah got into it with Teresa, I thought they were... Leah had some right things she was saying, but I thought they were both wrong in the situation. All the couples met, and Teresa talked about her being protective of her kids and revealed that she did not tell her kids John's age, and is not going to until she decides, because of the double standard that if she was a man and John was a woman, there wouldn't be that double standard. I question that. But Leah was expressive when Teresa was saying all of this, and was saying the whole point of this journey is to let the family know each other's ages. And Leah was asking, why are you hiding it now when they're just going to find out? Teresa was saying she's not hiding it. She's being strategic in letting her kids get to know them first. Strategic was code for manipulative, if we're being honest. So I agreed with Leah's statements here, saying that they're all not supposed to be ashamed of this. Teresa was saying she's not ashamed. She is, though. She's been clearly ashamed for several episodes. She's the only reason that the couple is struggling to actually go forward now. I get the pressure. I get that people are going to judge her. I get that some of her kids are going to question it. But if the connection is as strong as it seems, Teresa totally ruined it. I mean, I don't want them to get together anymore. I think John can do better, quite frankly. But Leah was also wrong here because none of her family came. So is she ashamed of being on the show? Because she talked about being close to some of her family back home in California. I didn't love Teresa's whole, don't come for me because, please, your old ass. I don't see it. Although she's very fit, I don't think Teresa can take much at her old age. Anyway, the whole twist at the end is they got to split up. This is their last night together. They're going to be alone to think about their decision and make their final decision on the finale coming up Wednesday. So this show I've enjoyed it overall. There's a lot of awkwardness to it, but it has been a pleasant enough watch. I hope the finale works out. We'll see if there's one couple that makes it. John and Teresa have had the biggest edit, so I feel like they might make it after all this, but not if she continues to be the way she is about her child. I'm rooting for Feifer and Derek, but I'm okay if they don't work out. If Andrew and Libby are the only couple that actually go forward with this experiment might have been a fail, though, because they're not going to work out in the long run.